Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul, and in this video we are going to discuss about the exception handling in Python. So in our previous video we have seen three different type of error that can occur in program, and in order to handle those error we can use the exception handling. So exception handling is an effective tool to handle the error in any program. The purpose of exception handling is to terminate a program in a proper way and displaying the proper message to the programmer so that they can understand the nature of error and resolve it. If programmer can determine what type of error can occur during the execution of a program, then exception handling can be used to do efficient programming for solving the problems. So the first thing that we need to understand about exception handling is what is exception and how we can handle an exception in Python. So let's answer what is exception. An exception is an event which occurs when the execution of a program that disrupts the normal flow of the program's instruction. In general, when a Python script encounters a situation that it cannot cope with, it raises an exception. An exception is a Python object that represents an error. When a Python script raises an exception, it must either handle the exception immediately, otherwise it terminates and quit. Now let's discuss what is handling an exception in Python. If we have some suspicious code that may raise an exception, we can defend our program by placing the suspicious code in a try block. So this is the try block. And after the try block, we can include an except statement followed by a block of code which will handle the problem as elegantly as possible. And if exception occurs, the program jumps to the except block. And if there is no exception in the try block, the except block, the block is skipped. So let's see a simple syntax of try, except, and else block. Okay, so this is a simple syntax of try, except, and finally block or else block. Now let's discuss few points about the syntax. A single try statement can have multiple except statement. This is useful when the try block contains a statement that may throw different type of exception. You can also provide a generic except clause which handles any exception. After the except clause, you can include an else clause. The code in the else block executes if the code in the try block does not raise an exception. The else block is a good place for code that does not need the try block protection. In our previous video, we encountered the logical error, and now as we have seen and understand a little about exception handling, let's go and try to handle the logical error in proper way. Okay, so let me copy the previous code that I've written over here. Let me copy this and let me put it over here. Okay, so we have taken the user input. Then we are using the if statement, if else statement to check the day of the week. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a try and except block over here. So within the try block, we are going to put all the code that may raise a error or that might raise an error. So I'll simply put try, and then I have to basically input my code. So within this try, I'm going to add a new condition over here which says if user input is less than equal to 0, and or let's put or user input is greater than equal to 8, then raise a value error. Okay, after that I am going to put all my normal statements that I had given earlier. Okay, and then I'm going to put the except block. Except value error, I'm going to print the number you have entered is either greater than 7 or less than 1. So please select a number between 1 to 7. Okay. Now if I run this, I should get this error handled. But before that, I think there is an error saying that we have to correct the indentation. Okay, now let's run this once. So we have been asked to enter the day of the week. Let's say that we entered 3 over here and Wednesday is printed. And when the user enters the number either greater than or less than 1, then what will happen? So again, if I run this program and I put, let's say 11, so the number I am entering over here is greater than 7, right? So if I press enter, you will see that we are getting this statement saying that the number you have entered is either greater than 7 or less than 1. So please select a number between 1 to 7. And this is happening because of try statement, which raises an exception from its block whenever the user enters a value not falling in the range of 1 to 7. The exception will get raised, and this exception is caught and the block of a statement inside the except clause are executed, and that's how we are getting this message over here. So let's see some of the common exceptions that are defined in the Python module, which we will be discussing in the subsequent upcoming videos. So we have somewhat around 25 different type of common exceptions that are defined in Python module, and we can take example of each and every exception over here and try to understand in our upcoming videos. Happy learning and see you in the next video.